inside the courtroom. My next guest has been with us every day of this case. It's criminal defense attorney Todd Shapiro with us here in Dallas. Todd, it's good to see you. Thanks for being with us here today. 3 hours of deliberation, guilty verdict, murder, Karmelo Anthony. Your thoughts?
I think we all saw this coming from a mile away, Will. I think anybody that has been following this case from the inception, when it happened, through jury selection, opening statements, and the testimony that was provided in the evidence, only lent itself to one decision, and that is a guilty verdict. I believe that justice was served in Collin County, Texas. I am proud to be from Collin County, Texas, because I think that justice is at a premium in our community, and so I believe that this jury did the right thing.
Let's talk about what happens now, and is happening right now, and that is the sentencing phase of this trial has begun, and it's the very same jury seated now listening to testimony, as we learned, from Karmelo Anthony's mother. It appears at this point, she is the only one that has been called to testify on behalf of Karmelo Anthony when pleading with the jury to take some leniency in his potential sentence, which we should note could cover anything from 5 to 99 years.
So we're hearing the same thing. That is it potential that Karmelo's mom is the only witness? Is that the strategy from the defense, that they want her testimony and her pain and angst and anguish over her son to be the overriding feeling for the jury to determine, or are they going to bring a host of character witnesses? I would be shocked if she's the only witness. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't lend itself to any sympathy for Karmelo. If they're trying to get him the least amount of sentence, I would probably bring every person that he's ever known that likes him, family member, friend, coaches, girlfriends, whoever, to say anything good about him that would somehow try to mitigate or take away from what he has done.
Okay. Murder in Texas, not capital murder, but felony murder in Texas carries with it, and we can put it on the screen here, a potential sentence of 5 to 99 years. Talk to me about what that means, what the jury will consider, what they could come back with, and importantly, Todd, what could he serve?
Sure. So murder in Texas is not eligible for probation to start off with. Even if the jury wanted to probate his sentence, they could not. So they will be instructed, your job is to determine the proper sentence for this case between 5 to 99 years or life in the penitentiary. The old adage is you've got to serve half of it for this type of crime. They used to call them what's called 3G offenses here in Texas, but it's got a different name now. But you've got to serve half of it. So if he gets 40, he's got to do 20. If he gets 50, he's got to do 25. A life sentence in Texas on a murder charge like this means he's got to serve at least 30 years before he is eligible for parole. That may mean that he stays in prison for the rest of his life. It may mean that he gets out at 30 years if they do give him life. So depending upon the number the jury comes back with will dictate how many years, before he's eligible for parole. And there's no predicting parole. I mean, he could have problems in jail. There could be overcrowding issues. There could be a whole lot of different things that play a part in whether or not he gets paroled at that time.
But if it's a life sentence, it's a minimum of 30
Minimum
years.
of 30. They're not eligible till 30.
Okay, let's go back to the guilty verdict. 3 hours of deliberation. Is that... The old adage is, and we've heard it on this channel today, and we've all grown up understanding this, that if a jury comes back fast, that's bad for the defense.
Usually.
So when you saw they were back after 3 hours, was that pretty well you understood what was going to happen in the courtroom?
I think so. I mean, if you listen to what Bill Werski said in his close about this idea that manslaughter was even a possibility, he said it's ludicrous. But if you are to get there, that means all 12 of you have to say he is not guilty of murder. And that would have been a very, very large stretch. I can't imagine all 12 of those jurors would agree that manslaughter was proper after they found him not guilty of the murder. So once the verdict came back as quickly as it did, it was a very big indicator that they were going to find him guilty of murder.
Okay, talk to me really quickly about the potential for appeal. I know there was some argument today about whether or not the jury should be instructed on provocation, that whether or not you can claim self-defense if you were the provocateur in a fight, and that was something that was taken issue with by the defense.
Yes, I mean, that's certainly something I would think that the defense or this appellate team would probably want to attack. I think they objected to that language in the charge being included, that it may confuse or mislead the jury as to what the law is in self-defense, that it did not fit the factual pattern of what was presented in the courtroom. The jury charge has to fit what's presented. They're not going to put in information and instructions in a jury charge that had nothing to do with the testimony that was presented.
But all accounts and the testimony suggests there was provocation.
That's correct. And so the defense was doing its job to try to keep that instruction out because it makes it much more difficult to get to self-defense. Obviously, they made the objection. They failed. That will certainly be a point on appeal to determine whether the judge made the proper ruling there.
Okay. Todd Shapiro is going to hang out with us and stay with us throughout the hour as we analyze this trial.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.